Hello YouTube, what is up? King of Pharaoh Imps here, and today I wanted to talk about Bionicle. You know, a little odd choice. If you are a Bionicle fan, then you will know that Bionicle is making a comeback for 2014, which has got me super psyched. You know, the hype is real on this. But it got me thinking, what if we get a Bionicle card game? Now, in the past, there have been Bionicle card games. I remember there was the first one, or I remember there was one through McDonald's that, you know, you got cards with the actual Bionicle toys. Remember there's also an actual one that had like the actual blister packs in store. They looked somewhat similar, but I'm pretty sure they were like they were completely different. You know, you may have noticed I have a couple of the holographic McDonald's ones as my token in my token deck profile. You know, I'll link that or whatever. But could it be possible that along with the 2015 release, we will see a card game revived? A lot of companies are, I guess, trying to make card games. I mean, we have a card game from My Little Pony. I mean, like, and they're still selling product. It's had at least 2 sets, I believe, and you know, that's pretty surprising. Also, like near the beginning of this year, when they were trying to restart Digimon, they re-released the Digimon card game. That didn't last too long. I haven't heard wind of that. I actually opened some up, so of course, again, if you want to see that, I'll link that. You know, I do feel like companies are, I guess, emphasizing a bit more on card games. I mean, you know, Blizzard released their own card game, Hearthstone. Sheesh, you know, and they didn't have to. They just had to figure out how it worked. You know, they have all the lore, the characters, and everything already from Warcraft. And also recently, Pokemon has been improving its TCGO, like its online version of the game, like immensely. You know. It just came out for iPad as well, so that's great. So, you know, I guess what I'm getting at with all this is that companies are actually, you know, seeing that people like us, we enjoy card games and are kind of catering to us just a bit more, I guess. So then the question becomes, will the LEGO Group realize this and make a new Bionicle card game along with the re-release in 2015? Now, that could be possible, but we really don't know, of course, because, you know, it was just officially announced. At the next Comic-Con, I believe it was in London or something, there will be more Bionicle news, so possibly, if there will be a card game, we'll see that, like, announced. Me personally, I think that, you know, it's a possibility, definitely. I would really love to see a card game come with Bionicle's revival. We've seen, you know, them with Ninjago that tied in a card game fairly well. I mean, of course, it wasn't big or anything, but I feel like with all the hype that's building up around Bionicle 2015, if they did release a card game, I'm sure people would play it. I would definitely play it. I could get a bunch of people I know to just, you know, play it as well. You know, I'll bet you would play it, maybe. I don't know. So, if they were to make a card game, I feel like this would be sort of a Hearthstone thing going on. What I mean by that is that, like I mentioned, Hearthstone already had lore and characters established. And then they just had to figure out, you know, the card game to work around it. This would be fairly easy, I guess, you know, for them to take for the LEGO Group or something to generate a card idea, a card game idea, like the mechanics and everything, and then just, you know, make Bionicle. They could even, like, sort of, I don't want to say rip off, but they could borrow from other card game engines and then, you know, use Bionicle. They could also use, like, the original card game idea, which was alright, but what I would like to see something completely different. If they did end up making it like Hearthstone, because I've seen a couple other games that are essentially Hearthstone. I mean, My Little Pony was able to figure out a card game without any actual, like, violence or anything. I guess you don't, like, attack it with it, you solve problems, I guess. What I mean by that is that just whatever there is, there's always some type of card game that you can create to cater to it, to tie in well with it, to work well with it, and, you know, to work out. If Bionicle were to come out with a card game, I don't think it would be something that requires full 60 card decks like Pokemon, My Little Pony, Magic the Gathering. You know, nothing like that. Hearthstone is really nice because the decks are fairly small. It doesn't take very much to have a basic deck, of course. You know, you're straight up giving them and they work well, and then you can just, fit them in. I guess my prediction is that maybe it would be simple 30 card decks, much like Hearthstone, much like the Digimon card game. So that makes it fairly easy. They could even have, cards in sets should they want to, but most likely they won't. They probably won't even make a card game, but like, I just like that there's the possibility of it. That just with card games kind of like everywhere now, and people just kind of wanting to start their own, make their own, have their own, and everything. Even if we don't get an actual like TCG out of this, we could maybe even just get like a standalone card game, board game. Of course, that's not what I want, but there's always that possibility. I just like all the possibilities. If I could have a say in it, which I really wish I could, I would want a TCG or a CCG, something like that. One way it could work, it could almost directly be Hearthstone, as far as gaining mana or something, gaining some type of way to just bring out bigger cards. It could end up being something like the My Little Pony thing, where instead of like a problem, it's some sort of event and you have to find out some way to resolve that event or something. Like as far as Bionicle goes, you definitely could have an upgrading system, of course, with masks, getting better masks as the game goes along, some way, somehow. Of course, you would have the main characters you would play, like the Toas or whatever villains are going to be out there, whatever kind of Rahi are going to be introduced in this new set, or even vehicles if we end up getting those again, which would be pretty neat. They could even maybe do something like what we had with Glotorian. If you remember the Glotorian, they had little life counters on the back of them that counted down from 5 all the way down to 0, and you would take damage by like firing the Thornax at your opponent and getting hits, whether you get it on them or the shield. It was like you would play with the actual Bionicles, which was like, it was kind of neat. It's like a new way to do that, but who knows, maybe we could get something like that where the actual Bionicle could tie in with a card game, very similar to how Ninjago was. Maybe we could get like the Glotorian and have those life counters or something, but have cards that have different effects. Who knows? Like, I personally think that would be really cool if Lego Group could come up with this idea and could figure out how to incorporate like the actual Bionicle figures into a card game and not so much have them in the way. That'd be cool. However, for the most part, I guess I'd want to see just like a straight up card game without having to have the figures, because then, just something I could play on the go, which I really hope that this could happen. I know the original card game, or at least the one from McDonald's, because those are all the cards that I have. It was essentially War, where you shuffle a deck and each card had like a different stat, and then you flip it over, and then different numbers beat each other. I believe that was it with at least the McDonald's version, because those are all the ones I have. I believe so. But anyway, who knows? This is a possibility. Most likely it won't happen, but I really hope that we get something like this, that something like this could happen. Maybe not this year, maybe next year after Bionicle has been re-established. Anyway, the hype is completely real, like, all aboard the Technic hype train, everybody. So anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think that this card game could happen? Do you think we'll get something this year, next year, at all, if anything? Are you excited for Bionicle? If you're one of my Yu-Gi-Oh fans watching, are you surprised by this thing called Bionicle or whatever? But, anyway, let me know if you want to see more Bionicle. I'm definitely going to do it when 2015 comes around. I'm going to be buying a bunch of them, and I'm going to be opening them here on the channel and everything, putting them together. So if you enjoyed the content, please do subscribe. Also remember to leave a like and a comment to show your support. And this has been King of Pharaoh Imps.